Today on Twin J Racing, we changed the rear leaf springs in my 2011 F350 dually that has a saggy bottom problem. So, follow along as we get to this exciting project. And I literally just had new tires put on this. So we'll see how this all comes apart. Yeah, as you can see, new tires. That broke the bank, 6 new tires. But this thing needs leaf springs. We're going to be putting leaf springs on it. These old ones are shot and I forgot to take a measurement before I jacked it up. Alright. Talk to you all soon. A sign that your leaf springs are bad and definitely kind of screwed up is one side is pretty much rusting on the overload. This is at ride height currently with no weight. No weight in the shop. That is sitting on the leaf spring. Where the other side front is sitting about where it should be. So that tells me the rear of these leaf springs has been bent, over abused, or something at some point in time. This is on my 2011 F350 dually. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was a trailer hauler at one point in time. And I used it to haul trailers and still use it, but I'm trying to get it fixed. Alright, more to come. You know it's going to be one of them jobs when you see this. Torch is out and the hose strung out and around. I've actually so far had to use it twice. Oh, I actually threw it back under the truck. And it's there. I had to heat the nut up on the top of there to get it off. And then I had to heat, I'm not going to crawl into the truck right now, the front spring hanger nut. It wouldn't budge. I had to heat it up to get it off. So, this is how you tell a leaf spring is completely dead. Or has no spring left in it, per se. Take the center bolt out, because you got to take the overloads off. Put on the new one. Take the center bolt out. And that's all it separates. That thing should have like blown apart. There's still pressure on both ends. And it just went meh, meh, meh. That's pretty sad. Definitely shot. Those are going to be way better. Maybe I won't get flashed all the time because my ass end's dragging. We'll find out. But what we're working on here is spinning this down, and then we'll cut this bolt a lot shorter. We gotta leave enough because the parking brake cable anchors off the top of it. Gotta leave enough of it for that, but we ain't gotta leave a ton of this. But we do want to run another nut down on there to chase the threads, per se, when we cut it. So that way we can get the parking brake nut and all of that on there. Somewhere in there should work. Oh. I'm going to kind of zoom in out of the shot here. But to put these leaf springs in, I don't know if I'm in the shot or not, I can't tell. But to put these leaf springs in, we have to add on the helpers, which are removed from the old ones, which you might see the tail there, but I'm not sure. The old leaf springs. Have to put the overload and the pieces on there, which means we have to change the center bolt. And the place I got the springs from was like, oh, you gotta bring them in, we gotta press them. And I've never done that. Now, this may not work for everybody, but this is how I do it. You put C-clamps on both sides to keep the springs from exploding. Well, I don't know if exploding, but expanding. You keep them in place. And you take the center bolt out and you do what you gotta do. You guys are going to see stuff that might be out of order. I may put it in order, but it's recorded out of order. But I took them springs apart last night, my old ones, and they didn't hardly. The top one separated a little bit. The bottom two didn't do nothing. And the top one I can even pull back in by my hand. So, you know them springs were shot. But what we're doing is we're taking the center bolt out. And then we got to put a longer one in to accommodate everything. Grab a punch, but I didn't. Do not use screwdrivers as punches. But sometimes when that's what you have handy, that's what you do. You can tell by looking at the spring that that big hole and that line up together. This goes on the top, which is where the U-bolts go around. This is not the new nut. That is not the new nut. Where is the new nut? Right here. I took that apart. Yes, it's that simple. Take this one off. Start it again. Alright. So threads are decent there. We may shorten that up some more. We may not. Take these C-clamps loose so we can get them out. That's why it's sitting up on the 4x4s, was so I could get my turn my C-clamps without it hitting the floor and everything. There's one out. There's two loose. And then sure there's a torque spec for that. I do not know it offhand, so we'll go with and that's how you do it. The shop I bought these from said, oh, you got to have a press to do that. Yeah, I've done this for a long time and I've never used a press, so that's where we're at. Thanks, guys. New leaf spring in. A lot of work. Old garbage. Out. On the floor. New. Old. Hopefully this thing rides a lot better. We're getting ready to tackle this side. I'm going to do my best. Got most of the tools. The new rear spring shackle, the new U-bolts, the center bolts in there somewhere, all of the other fun stuff. We still gotta get the old shock out, gotta get spring out. But I'm going to put my GoPro on, hopefully get an okay angle. I do not know how well you're going to be able to see or not, and I do not know if I'm going to be able to figure out how to time lapse it. But that's my goal, is to time lapse it, so that way I don't get nailed for music, because I am going to have my music going while I do this. But I'm going to try to show you guys and ladies how I do it. It's not right, not wrong. This is how I do it. Everybody does it differently. But I've already taken videos on the other side. When we get it off, we got to get that helper spring off and attach it to the new springs. And just a lot of heavy work. But we're going to get there. Like I said, the other side is done. You can see, I already got the front bolt loose. We did that last night. Actually had to take the torch, heat up the back nut to get it to come loose. It was using that brown Loctite, you know, rust. Luckily, this truck is from the south and not northwest Indiana, here in the salt belt where I live. So everything comes apart pretty good, except for that nut wouldn't come off. But so far, and I haven't done the back of this yet, but I'm hoping it won't be an issue. So far, I have had not one bolt rusted to a sleeve, which is typical up here. Usually Sawzall, the wheel of death or whatever, to get stuff apart and get it the way you need it to be, and then replace all the bolts. This one all came apart. I did buy new shackles, which is in another video for the rear. That way the bushings are fresh, new bolts, new everything. Not a second thought. New U-bolts. I don't know how well you can see it on the camera here, but there's a bracket for an airbag that is completely bent to crap. Both sides were that way, so I know this truck's been overloaded a time or 10,000. It's hard to say. But, and I ain't going to say I'm not going to be guilty of it. I used to pull a trailer that had a tongue weight of about 6,000 to 8,000 pounds with this thing. So, yeah, I'm not nice on it either. I don't think I've ever overweighted it that bad, but I'm not nice on it either. Anyways, without further ado, I'm going to get back to doing some work on this thing, and hopefully this angle works. It looks like it'll work. I'm new, trying to figure this stuff out. So, like I said, my goal is to time-lapse this. Hopefully that works too, because I am going to turn on my music and work away at getting this done. And hopefully I don't hit the camera, and hopefully you guys can see and maybe learn something, maybe not. Anyways, I'm going to stop rambling and get to work. Separate video for this yet, but we're going to go ahead and install the shackle on this before I slide it in. Last time I did it after. This time I think I'm going to try it beforehand. I bought new Dorman shackles, new bushings, new everything. Not that my old shackles were bad, because normally up here in the salt belt, they normally rot out. But mine were fine because this truck's from Georgia, and or I should say, not from the salt belt, but it's been, it comes apart, goes back together so far, but it's only been up here 2 years. Anyways, we're going to install this bolt. I'm already going to try to do it backwards. It goes this way, because the old one's right there. No, the old one does go that way, but on the other side it went that way. Oh well, we're going to do it this way. Oh. Okay. I'm a firm believer in anti-seize. Like I said, we're in the salt belt, and if you ever want to take it back apart, which hopefully I never do, or if it does come back apart, the next owner will own it, but you never know. Anti-seize helps with removal of parts, helps to take back apart. Just something here in the north that you do. Because normally, like I said, this truck came from Georgia in the salt belt, and or not salt belt. I'm in the salt belt. Every bolt came apart except for the front bolt, which I had to heat up the nut, and then it all came apart. No sleeves were stuck. No nothing on that. Bitch. Worked on the other side. There we go. Didn't want to fit. Don't know why I don't want to fit. To be loose enough. There we go. Probably tighten it up a little more once it's in the truck, but I need it to move. But anyways, that's installing the shackle. Every bolt that goes into this will get anti-seize on it, because I'm not going to deal with stuff being stuck. So, alright, I'm going to move you back to where you were, and hopefully time lapse this and not take you out with the leaf spring going back in. Alright. Oh. how to tell if your Rancho shock is dead. It's probably the original one on this truck. It's an FX4, which means it has Rancho shocks. I know it's skid plates and a few other things, but I know Rancho shocks is one of them. This is a Rancho shock. It also has 278,000 miles. Anyways, there is no resistance, and no, I mean there's a little resistance, but no spring back whatsoever. That thing should be going back up. Garbage. But we have the answer to that over here in this box. Some people will say these are good, some people will say they're not. These are the 5100 series, so I'll get one out and get it on truck. All right, see this one? You can't even push it with one hand. There we go. Let that down. Comes right back up. All right, let's get this on the truck. Well, as you guys have seen, we've changed the rear leaf springs in this truck, in the rear shocks, and the front shocks. And I didn't video it, but we changed a outer tie rod and a few other maintenance items on this thing while we had it all apart and was working on it in the shop. And we've now, that was in December, and it's going to be September tomorrow. So it's been a while since we've done it, and it's made a huge difference with hauling and with just in general driving. Like I believe I said in one of the videos, I don't get flashed anywhere near as much as I used to because the rear end was sagging so bad, the headlights were up in everybody's eyes. So overall, like I said, it's been over 6 months, so it's made a big difference with this truck. It's a lot more enjoyable to drive. You don't hit a bump in the bottom, the rear end, try to walk around on you. But we're not on the bump stops. Well, it's missing the rubber on that one, but we're not on the bump stops anymore. You know, they don't look as new and as pretty as they once did, but there's still stickers and stuff on it. There's a lot more gap in the fender. I know I took a bunch of measurements, but I lost all that information in between the time I did this, because I did the rear leaf springs right before I had my second back surgery, and was just trying to get it done before that happened and get it taken care of, because with the new tires, and if the rear end is sagging, it changes the camber in the front and it helps tear up the front tires. So we wanted to get those changed while I was going to be down for a while. But overall, we're happy with the outcome of how everything has worked out now with the new leaf springs. It hauls the enclosed a lot better. Hauls the open. I mean, it hauled the open before without a problem, but hauls it even better now. Weight distribution is better. Truck sits better, in my opinion. A lot of shots of it before, but I mean, my driveway tapers back a little bit, but it sits fairly level now, or up a little bit in the back. It used to kill me when I'd park my 08, my F350. The bumper would be like 3 inches higher, bumper to bumper in the back. So tailgate would be 3 inches different too, you know, if you're putting stuff back and forth between the two. But made a world of difference. Way happier with it now. So that's where we're going to leave it at. Please like, share, and subscribe, and keep watching. Go see some old videos. If you've seen them before, go watch them again. Just keep going. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.